and the head moves with the arms. The whole body's moving as a unit. So we're just teaching her how to move it without hanging on the bar. Now we're going to hang on the bar a little bit. And again, fully extended shoulder girdle. All the movement is coming from the midsection. And we're just going to go slow at first. So she's just going to the deep, the arch and the hollow, and she's just holding each one for about a second. Making sure the ankles are together. She's nice and long. So you start slow, and then as it gets better, you speed it up. So we like that, so now we do the same thing fast. And notice how the head and the arms move together. The shoulder girdle is hanging, ears are covered. And you can see now, just as she's tapping, her whole body's loading the bar a little bit. See the bar starting to bounce? And now Emily's more advanced, so she can actually bounce and make the bar throw her. And she's not pulling on the bar, she's freezing the position, and then as the bar bows up, it pulls her off the bar. So this is your tap. Okay, and we can start to add to that. If I want to start drilling her for like a giant, or the motion that she's going to use, I can start to have her lead her up a little bit on that. So, in essence, what happens is the bigger you can arch, okay, the greater range of motion you have now to get speed. All right, so I want you to think about, if you guys have all kicked a ball, right? If you're going to kick a ball, you don't go back to kick a ball and just do a little bitty leg, right? You wind your leg back as far as it goes from the hip, and then you swing at it and you kick. Bars is the same way, right? The bigger the arch, the more power that there is. And I want you to think about, there's a thing that we have, because we're human beings, it's called a stretch reflex. So when we load a muscle, and you guys can experiment that, take your arm like this, put it out, and pull it in and touch your shoulder as fast as you can, really fast. Okay? Now, no stretch reflex, that's just contraction of your bicep. If you take your arm and you throw it out and pull it back, see how much faster it is? Because your bicep starts to preload and tighten to protect your elbow, and it allows you to snap back faster. So if you can imagine, if you get a big arch for your tap, and you're fully extended and you load that belly up, it's going to want to snap back quicker the other way, because it's trying to protect your lower back. It's doing its job. But we can use that in our timing of gymnastics, and it becomes quite important on some things later on. It's our own stored energy, right? Just like what we're doing at the bar, we're loading those muscles a little bit. All right, so this is where your rotation comes from. Your rotation comes from your tap. And it's, in essence, if you're hanging on to the bar, and the bar is connected to the concrete that's connected to the earth, you're swinging around a greater force, okay? So if you're swinging around that, and you're kicking your legs and they're rising very fast, and you're hanging onto the bar, as soon as you let go of that bar, your upper body is going to try and catch your lower body. And the tighter you are, the quicker that will happen. If you're soft, it's not going to happen quite as fast. So what I want them to start to learn here is that just by kicking their feet up fast and releasing the bar, they can start to create flip. They can start to create rotation. And I wouldn't recommend doing this one a lot, but they can do a flywheel with no swing. In essence, if she did the same thing and tucked in, she would flip. Long and short. Okay? With no swing, just a tap. Same thing for front giants. You work in the same shapes and the same positions. And if you're going to do front giants, you need to work on both from the beginning, because the flexibility is quite different on these two skills. You want to develop the shoulders, the wrists, and the elbows. And we can front flip the same way as well. Okay, so without swing. And another thing I'll show you is we can start to teach them how to turn against, so she can turn her legs a little bit in this tap, and her arms, and she can start learning the action for a shoot over or a ginger or a blind change or anything of that nature later on when she's little. All right, so now we're going to look at the swing component. Okay, the tap is going to happen within the swing to add to the swing. So the swing is, in essence, if I took a ball on a string and I held it, I just let it go like a pendulum, it's going to swing around the connection point. And then I could add to that by being longer on one side and shorter on the other side if I want to start to use my tap. And that's what we want to do. And in essence, all swing is, you want to be as long as you can on the downswing. Whether it's a circle or whatever, you want to be way behind the bar, because gravity pulls on weight, but it also pulls on length. So the longer you get, the more pull there's going to be. And the opposite is true when you're going up. Now you're fighting gravity. So the shorter you can make yourself, the more you're going to rise. The longer you make yourself, the more gravity has to pull down, because it pulls on length as well as weight. So long downswing, short upswing is a really good rule of thumb. So if we just start looking at the mechanics of the swing, she's swinging around the bar, and I look more at the center of mass, which would be her hips, and then I want to start to teach him where the tap is going to occur. So she's going to be open. She's going to be allowing her hips to go through the uprights, so they're now moving up, and then she's going to kick to shorten her body. So I just start with them really slow and put them in the positions. Make sense? And then I'll start developing those shapes that I'm looking for. This is a really easy way to do it. She just relaxes, goes through that big arch. Okay? And most drills, guys, are really big exaggerations of what we're trying to get, because you're going to learn faster if you can feel it very exaggerated. And I would promote to you that with your young kids, do things really big, because as they get older, they're going to tighten up. All right, so if you want a little bit of this left by the time they're 16 or 17, you better teach it really big, because it's going to get smaller as they get tighter and they get stronger and they grow. And they're going to get less flexible. So teach it big in the beginning. So we just saw the arch portion. This is working more the tap portion. So what she's trying to do here, she's trying to go down with a slow count, and right at the end, she's trying to release the arch and then snap back as quick as she can. We're just trying to simulate the exact pattern of movement that we're looking for. So exactly what I put the little girl through on the bar, I'm just trying to break that into two pieces now. The relax to the arch, and then the scoop to tap, the in curve. And then we're just starting to put, there's the arch, there's the in curve. Okay? And again, this is a big exaggeration, right? Because it's a small tap swing, but I'm teaching her to get long, big arch, and kick as close to the bar as she can go. Because if I start to speed this up, centrifugal force is going to pull her away from the rail more. Make sense? You ever taken a ball on a string and spin it around your finger, and you spin it really fast, and it stays away, and then you let it slow down, and it gets to the top, and it falls back down? It's just what these guys are doing. If they're spinning fast enough, it keeps their body away from the rail, especially on circles. But if that circle starts to decelerate, it wants to fall back the other way. Gravity's going to pull it down. Okay, so this is a real bar, and this is a single swing giant. Okay, and that's a penny. See the shapes that we worked on the horse? I'll show you right after this, but I just want you to see how extreme you can get with it, okay? And what you want to develop, because all of this is potential energy for us to use later on. So this is how I got to that. This is I don't let the kids go over just to do a giant. I want the shapes that I'm looking for before they're allowed to do it. And essentially what that means is they should be able to swing from almost a handstand to almost a handstand really easily. And full support, good push, good position, no head issues, no collapsing, none of that. And they're showing me they're strong enough. And I know then all I have to do from that point on is just tap a little harder. Just add some kick and it's going to go over the bar because it's going to rotate faster. So that's what I'd recommend. So this is what I do a lot of, is just like this. And these are the shapes that I'm looking for. This is just a building swing until she can easily go over the rail. So no problem. And if I let her go, she'd go over, right? She's over. And let me back this up a little bit real quick. So I just want to point out a couple things on this. Okay, so she's nice and extended, pressing, relaxing, hanging really long, opening her hips as much as she can. Her hips pass through the bar. And I want you to think about how to do a layout on floor. When I look at a giant, to me, it's a back layout that hangs onto a bar. And when we do a layout, if we're doing really good technique, we're pressing back, we're getting our shoulders out of the way so our center of mass starts to rise, our hips are slightly open. And then when we want to accelerate the legs, we snap through our chest and we turn our hips under. So it's hip open, hip under. The giant's the same way. You want to get the hip moving the direction you want to go. The center of mass is moving up, right? And then you want to snap it in to accelerate your legs and make yourself shorter to go over the top. So that's just another way to think about it. So if you watch her, she snaps and pushes against the bar, and it brings her up. She freezes the body position, and that rotates her around the bar. No head whipping, no anything. It's just a tap. She's extended, and that pulls her around that rail. Okay, so essentially, your legs are going to drag you over, and you're just going to hold the position and push on the bar. So go back to the shaping I showed you in the beginning, the isolation and the arms and the connection. And that's the pattern we want to develop, because she just did all of those shapes right here. Right? She did round, she did relax, she used her upper body and her lower body, and she connected it all together. And I'll show you a way to accelerate that process. And this is, you guys really need to do a lot of this work. So if you look, you see the little thing? She's got a wristband between her shoulder and her ear. And she's also got ankle weights on, so that, you could wear shoes if you wanted. So they can feel the energy of where their legs are pulling them much, much faster. If you kick the wrong way with the weight on your ankle, it's going to pull you that way. If you kick the right way, it's going to pull you that way. So she's got wristbands in, she's got weights on her ankles, and she's just going to swing and just do building swings. If you watch, I'll just break this down. And she's young, she's 11, and she's already starting to do just a very slight straddle. And I would recommend that, because when they get bigger, that's the most efficient way to get by the bar, is a slight straddle. So she's really pulled out, very small in the beginning, but just make sure it's there so you develop that pattern. And you can see the bar load when she gets to the bottom. See the load? Kicks through, head still, and kick. All right? And I'll give you another way to look at this. So when you're at the bottom of the rail and you kick, you don't pull on the bar, you push on the bar. You push on the bar, your shoulder decelerates as you kick, your leg accelerates and it pulls you around the rail. So I want you to watch when her feet start to go faster. Her shoulders, notice the frame there, her shoulders almost stop. Can you see that, guys? The legs speed up, the shoulders almost stop. She really pushes on the rail, the bar loads, and it just pulls her to the top of the bar. And that's the action that we're trying to get.